Hey y'all, and welcome to another episode of Beaut Told. It's your girl Britt, and I am back yet again with another great episode here on the comfy couch.
Yeah.
Listen,
And it's comfy.
now you better know it, okay? So we are up here getting cozy and cute.
Yes.
And by the way, this is a relationship podcast that is centered around helping my beauties and gents to be able to get healthier relationships, growing and glowing out here. So that is what you just tuned into. So for those who may be first timers, welcome. And for those who've been rocking, hey beauties, hey gents, love y'all. And listen, the topic today is gonna be how to get a baddie. And let's not be dismissive of the fact baddie, it might not be what you think. A little plot twist with that one, okay?
Come on.
So my girl Alishia here is going to give us what is a baddie.
Okay, so hey y'all. Let's talk about it. So for me, my definition is a little different. A baddie in my eyes in 2025 is a woman who carries herself within certain different characteristics that are still fly, that are still popping, that's still polished, that's still classy. But first of all, and most of all, she follows the heart of God. She keeps Jesus at the helm of her life. So that is what we qualify as a baddie in 2025, a woman who understands balance.
For the few that may not know who you are, beautiful,
It's okay.
Can you be able to introduce to the beauties and gents who you are?
Yeah, just modest little me. Just Alishia from a small town. I have been adopted by the city of Cleveland. I've been here for about a decade. Via my husband. My husband's DJ Ryan Wolf, who is a corporate DJ for Radio One and also for the Cleveland Browns. And I came here as a makeup artist, and now I'm here as a advocate within our community. I stand very, 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 very firmly and strong on being an example of what today's family should be, how it should operate. And I'm a wife. I have been his wife for 8 years. We have been together for 10. And I have really, really shifted a lot in the way that I think and see things as I've been here in the city of Cleveland. And I've really got my hands rooted in things that I feel we need in our community.
Absolutely.
So good representation, good examples of what it is to try to lead our lives with Christ at the helm, and also still being fly. You know what I mean? Like we don't do that. Still raising the babies, and not getting locked into what society tries to formulate and conform us to be in, and really just being uh led by God. So that's who I am.
All right.
Retired makeup artist, celebrity makeup artist. Was there for about 20 years. Pretty much did everything I wanted and needed to do in that lane. I also have been a part of lots of staffing agencies for media, at way, 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 way big levels. Dealt with a lot of big companies that are phenomenal, a lot that are based out of Ohio that a lot of people don't know. Um, and of course, like she said, I am a baddie. So therefore, I run a group, which is a prayer group, which is my ultimate favorite thing that I got my hands on right now, which is the Baddie Prayer Warriors. And every single woman that is in that group is a baddie. Okay. Every single woman. And we keep God first, and we study the word, and we just try to sharpen each other with our own gifts and our tools, and that God has equipped us in for this season.
Absolutely. I love it. Listen, you had me when now she may look familiar to a lot of you guys as well. For those who follow on the pull-up experience, my girl was definitely a special guest on that episode as well. Brandon, that darn buzzer. I'm telling you, okay?
I love the buzzer.
Well, clearly he does too.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
He does. I know he'd have been through a few for sure. I know he has.
He trying to find me one right now.
You don't need it.
A little pretty one.
You don't need it. You don't need it.
Okay, all right. We're gonna leave it alone, y'all.
We're gonna get you something else.
Think? Y'all think I should get one?
We're gonna get her something
I don't know.
else.
I've been debating though. I think a cute little
you need
pink
like
one would be cute.
you need something else. We need something that plays like a flute.
Okay.
Something soft.
Okay. I like what you're
We need
thinking.
some
I need
soft.
something else. You're right. It
Yeah.
differentiates,
Well,
Beauty Told
that's
from the
all.
full of experience.
Thank you.
Okay.
There we
All
go.
right, ladies.
That's
I'm
all.
here. You bringing me some little tips back there. Okay, I got you, girl.
It's a little soft, soft girl era.
Soft girl
You giving soft girl era
era.
over there, okay? You giving
Girl.
soft girl
Well,
era. You
thank
giving it.
you. Thank
So
you, girl.
that's the vibe. We gonna find it. We gonna
I
figure it out.
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And one of the things like I said, I loved from your interview was, the Baddie's prayer word. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be one.
Yes, and you
I
can
wanna
be,
one.
and you can be, and you can be. Yes.
But I love how you guys get together, and again, the
Yes.
focus
Yes.
is around Christ and
Yes.
just how He is keeping us and blessing us every day.
Yes. Yes.
And giving Him honor and praise
Always.
every single moment that
Yes,
we can.
ma'am.
So you know what? Before we go into the topic, what is your favorite scripture?
Let's talk about
It's so many to choose from.
I have quite a few. I'm trying to think of like what pertains to this season, because this season is very different for me.
Oh, okay.
I this last season I was in
Yeah.
lasted maybe about 2 years.
Really?
It was about a 2-year season.
Oh,
And it
wow.
fluctuated. It shifted a lot, but
Yeah.
it was a 2-year season, and it was a 2-year
Mm.
season for my husband and I.
Okay.
And that was it was crazy. It was like as soon as May 1st got here, we felt that door shut.
Wow.
And then it was like God elevated us into a whole new different realm. So I'm trying to think of
what would be a good befitting one. Or give it some thought and give it to me towards the end.
I feel like no, I mean I
you,
have
you
it.
got one? Okay.
No, that's not it. No, I don't want to use that one either. I don't know. I have so many.
I know.
Um,
Listen, the Bible be deep, y'all. When you really get into your word, there is so many. Like my Bible is highlighted, pen,
girl,
row. If your Bible is looking too clean and too pretty,
sticky tabs.
you ain't
Okay,
doing enough.
the
Yeah,
sticky tabs
it
is
should
like
be looking crazy. What's going on here?
mangled all on the
Yes,
side,
for
but
real.
that's how you get it. Probably Proverbs. Really, Proverbs 31.
Okay.
The whole
that whole entire. Whoo, that's set up, honey.
because I mean Proverbs in itself is very telling.
Yes.
Right? It's
Yes.
very
Especially
like
today's times.
here's the fool. Are you the fool? You know what I mean? And there's so many times the Holy Spirit will convict you as you're reading through it. No matter what level and stage you are in, following Christ, you still you still have to like literally go back and humble yourself.
Yeah.
And I love to read about the Proverbs woman.
Okay.
I feel like there's always an adjustment. There's always a way that God can fine tune you. There's always something He's doing in you. There's always a work He's working in you.
Yeah.
And so for me, I can identify with the Proverbs woman for sure. But just making sure that even how I'm operating with our children, how I'm operating in the things that I use my hands with, how I'm operating in everything, like it still goes back to Proverbs. It's the Proverbs woman. So right now, as I'm into this new season, I'm right back there again. Like, okay, so what does that look like for me now? I know what it was like for me in that 2-year season. But what is that like for me right now?
Wow.
And I can see how, there were a lot of things God was working on me that I needed to fine tune from the last season.
Right.
And I also see why He allowed me to walk into the new season because there were things that I needed to let go of.
Okay.
There were things I needed to forgive myself for.
Okay.
There were people I needed to forgive in order to allow God to work in my life a certain type of way.
Yes.
There are certain strongholds that were holding me back.
Okay.
And I found that through operating in forgiveness for a lot of things, and not only forgiving people, but identifying those pains, those fears, those different emotions that we have as humans. I find that identifying them and calling them out from certain situations that happened in my life even 10, 15 years ago, that was still holding me back.
It can.
It was still holding me back. So I feel like I've let a lot of that go. I've put those emotions on eviction notice.
Okay.
That it can't live here no more. And again, studying Proverbs 31. Like it changed things for me.
Okay.
So I'm
I
gonna go
like
with the
that.
whole chapter.
I like that. And now you listen, you make me want to go ahead. I'm gonna have to read that chapter, chapter, yes,
Yeah.
in full.
Yes.
Not just picking
I
apart what you
suggest
want
it.
to.
Oh yeah, no.
Because
Go
a
get
lot
it.
of a lot of us is guilty of that, but really letting it hit. Because that Proverbs in general,
Oh my gosh.
whew,
It will have you like, and on top of that, I will tell you this. I've been reading the Gen Z Bible.
okay. Now I haven't tapped into that one. I'm
Oh my
still
God.
New King James
Mm-mm.
NIV at the most.
Mm-mm. You
But we
keep that.
got
You always keep that. Okay.
oh,
That's
for sure.
like we
Oh,
have
for
to
sure.
keep
That's
that
the foundation.
for sure. However,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't hurt to dibble and dabble
Yeah, for sure.
and to go into that Gen Z Bible because that Gen Z Bible speaks in today's language.
Okay.
And the way the Gen Z
Oh.
Bible tells you about yourself in Proverbs is utterly ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. It's very like, oh, okay. I don't think I was catching that over there. Okay. Now let me go open this back up and make sure that what you said over here is what's over here. And it is.
Yeah.
And I'm
Oh
like,
my
oh, this is
gosh.
crazy. Yeah. Get you the Gen
Oh,
Z
I'm
Bible.
gonna have to get me one. Girl, you make me want to go
Amazon.
right after I record. Let me see what time that
Okay.
store closed.
I suggest you get the one that has the emojis. The emoji, because they have a whole lot of different ones
It got
now.
emojis too.
There is an emoji Gen Z Bible that is so fire. And it literally has like, it has like pictures. And then it has
Yeah.
pictures on top of that.
Oh my God.
It's
Okay, so
amazing.
there's just no excuse of why you're not
No.
understanding what you're reading
Yes.
at this point.
None.
Okay.
And it's like this big. It's huge. It's thick.
Oh.
It's very big. It's got everything.
Uh-huh.
So it's definitely like a vibe.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
listen. Don't have me by myself, y'all.
Get you some.
Y'all better get it as well. And like you
Get you
said,
some.
it's a nice, friendly way you could cross reference and be able to
Yes.
really,
Yes.
if there's a verse that you're getting stuck in the
Yes.
King James, because Lord knows as
Hello.
a child,
Hello.
King James was
Thou,
hard.
thee, thouest. Who is
Aren't
thouest?
thou right?
Is thouest me or is thouest him? I don't.
Right.
I need a little
I'm like, what? I put you to
discernment.
sleep.
Come on now. Fall upon me. What am I reading?
Help me, Lord.
Please. So yeah, it
We've come a
definitely
long way
helps
with that too.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You
Makes
love
Bible
that.
study a little bit more fun.
For sure.
Too.
No,
Yeah.
it's a ball.
Yeah.
It is so much fun. So, and that's another thing that I like to pull out when in the group.
Okay.
Like in our group, each person has a different chapter a day for whatever book that we're in that they have to read. And so they can read it either audibly or they can do it visually, video.
Okay.
So I love to do mine in video. I don't care what I look like. I'm submitting it because it's just women in the group. So I'm like, nobody should care what we look like here.
That's right.
This is
That's
vulnerable
right.
space.
It's a safe space.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then so I go in the Gen Z Bible. And every time I read from the Gen Z Bible, they are all like, yo, this is wild. I feel convicted because I hear what you're saying. So I definitely suggest you get your hands on one of those because it helps a lot.
Well,
It's really cool.
definitely.
It's dope.
And it's a great place again for you that maybe read every once in a while. It's a great way to kind of get into that habit, get into that lifestyle of being able to read into, because that was one of the things too that when I was going through what I was going through in my marital issues when I was once married, is it brought me closer to Christ. It brought me reading, and you're right. Some of those scriptures, I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. What was it? A wise woman builds her home, but a foolish one tears it down. Like, oh my God, that was me. Like it literally had you looking at you. Shots fired at yourself.
That was me. Okay, yeah.
I can't blame him. That was definitely all me. Yeah.
Yes.
So it definitely helps, and it helps as you are getting you together.
For
because
sure.
that was one of the things I was having that alone time with God.
Yes.
And getting me together.
Yes.
And that way it could be right for the right person.
Yes, ma'am.
So listen, my girl here, listen, we're gonna take it back. We're gonna go back into time.
Come
a little
on.
bit.
Let's do it. I'm with it.
Because at one point before you was all married and whatnot.
Yes. And I was a very strong,
independent woman. Let me throw that out there.
Yes.
You were once in this dating world.
Yes, I was.
And now it ain't like it is now.
Oh, God, no. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, God bless you. But it was definitely, I'm sure, some trying times.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
So what was some of the, I would say, the moments with some of the guys where maybe it was the corny pickup line, maybe is.
I will say, so for me, even out of all the time, that I dated and was in the dating pool before I got
Mhm.
married. One thing about me was I was always like wanting a long-term relationship.
For sure.
I never just kind of like dated around. I never slept around. I never like
Mhm.
if I'm dealing with this person, I'm dealing with this person
Yeah.
with the intent that you could possibly be the one.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I'm not wasting my time if you're
I
not.
know that's right.
And I've always had that mindset. Like
Yeah.
I've always been that girl. I've always been that way. If you coming over here, you better be ready because I'm not accepting anything less,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Now, a lot of them would lie and be like, "I'm ready," but they wouldn't be. And I want to say what was my biggest pet peeve of my dating, and that's crazy because I was actually just thinking about this yesterday.
Oh,
It did.
okay.
It crossed my mind yesterday, and it crossed my mind this morning. Now that I think about it, God is crazy, man.
That
Listen,
is
because
crazy.
my husband was
Okay.
watching a TV show, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm not going to tell you what TV show it was because
Okay.
that's too telling. But he was watching a TV show earlier, and it just was on while I was getting ready to leave out the house. And I realized I don't like this TV show. And
Mm.
it's a classic. It's a classic that
Mm.
everybody freaking loves. Everybody knows the words. Like, it's top tier when it comes to 90s
Okay.
shows, right?
Uh-huh.
I hate it. And the
What?
reason why I hate it is because everything about it reminds me of one of my first loves. He would
Really?
watch it all the time. He would quote it. He would joke. And me growing up, I was kind of like sheltered.
Uh-huh.
Not kind of, I was.
Okay.
And so when this show would come on, growing up as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of watched it, but I didn't get to watch it all the time because it would come on late. And
Okay.
I would be in the bed.
I was gonna say, yep, strict parents like mine.
Goodness
Mm.
gracious. So, I watched it, but I really didn't watch it all like that. So he would like make fun of me because he would joke and he would
Uh-huh.
say lines from it. And I'd be
Oh,
like,
you wouldn't. Yeah.
and he'd be like, wow, how do you not know that? And I'd be like, wow, so what? So, my husband had it on earlier and I wanted to be like, turn it off. But the grace and the poise in me was like, just keep it moving, Alicia, because you're not even going to want to be in a position to explain
Mm.
why you don't want to have it on.
Right,
Right.
right.
So I was thinking about that this morning.
Right,
That was this
right.
morning's
Just this morning.
conversation with
Wow.
God in my heart. And God was like, just keep moving, girl. Let him watch the show. He loves the show. So just you
Let him do
tune
him.
it out. Right.
Yeah.
And I did.
Okay.
So thinking about that and even thinking about that relationship, I was in that relationship for about 5 years.
Okay. So that was a
Okay.
nice amount of time.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was nice, but it was a
Oh.
long time. Okay.
Okay.
There was a very, very, very big stronghold there
Okay.
that kept me in the loop in this cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it got to a point where maybe about year 3, I
Mm-hmm.
knew I was in a cycle,
Mm.
and I still couldn't get out of it,
Wow.
right? I couldn't get out of it, and this person was lying to me to my face
Whew.
consistently.
Wow.
Then this person had a child with the person that he was lying to me about consistently, while also being a college athlete who was like one of the top 10 best. You know what I mean? So outside of me and her, ain't no telling what else you
Right.
got going on and you're
Yep.
doing.
Mm.
So I literally couldn't get myself out of it.
Yeah. I've
I
been
couldn't
there.
get out
I've
of
been there.
this thing, right? He had me.
Mm-hmm.
So by year 4, I was like, I'm fed up with this.
Yep.
I've had enough. I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to a point where, I just want better and I want more for myself than accepting this because it's familiar.
Yep.
It was familiar.
It was familiar.
And
Yep.
so within myself, I had to
Mm-hmm.
recognize that that was not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started praying to God, like, God, whatever you have for me, if this ain't it,
Yeah.
go ahead and Rico it up out of here.
Ooh. Okay.
Right? So God was like, cool, all right, got you. So not even 6 months later, I feel like I was out.
Wow.
And then that's when he started to become everything I needed him to be. So that
Of
was my
course.
ugh.
Yep.
When I
That's
leave,
confusing.
now you
Yep.
want
Now you
to
do it.
pretend to be this person. And I know you're pretending, because if I was to come right back to the cycle again, I would be back in the
back
cycle
into
again.
the same.
And so to make sure that I wouldn't be in that cycle again, God sent somebody. And not only did he send somebody, he sent somebody I could have married.
Oh, wow.
And would have married if this person's life didn't go the way that it went.
Okay.
Which the way that it went was phenomenal for him.
Yeah.
But it wasn't meant for me.
Okay.
So I realized, even looking back now at it, he was sent to help me get over that.
Yeah.
And he was sent to kind of recondition me as to how I should be treated, what I should accept, what type of family I should be looking for that comes with those types of relationships, because he had a phenomenal family. I mean, he was just like chef's kiss. He just checked off all the boxes. And I met him through his mama.
Wow. Okay.
I was working at Mac.
Okay, I was gonna say, was this a client back in the? Okay, all right.
Well, let me watch how I'm about to roll this, wrap this story together, right? So I was working at Mac, and I was probably like maybe 3 years into working at Mac, and was a baddie.
Even then, okay.
And his mom was cold, right?
Okay.
She would come into the store, and she would talk to me, and she would get things, but I knew she was there for another purpose.
Yeah.
Right. So it finally got to a point where she was like, "Are you single?" And I was like, "Yeah." "What's up? Who you got? Who you know? Where he at?"
Right.
She's like, "I'm gonna send my son in here." Now, mind you, her son had already been in there previously, maybe a month before, not even a month. It was like a couple weeks, with a girl, and he was buying makeup for the girl. He was just there to splurge on her. And I remember being like, that was real nice of him. He bought her like $400 worth of stuff. That's nice.
That is.
And when I would work, me being a humble woman, whenever men would come in, I would never look at the man.
Yeah.
I would always make it about the woman. And, you know, I just connected with her, but I was like, who's this fine man? Where'd you find him?
Right.
He is fine.
Some girls get all the look.
And he over here tricking. Okay. So I'm like, all right. So she's like, I'm gonna have my son come back in and see you.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. Not knowing who the son is.
Okay, I was gonna say, did she show you a picture? No, okay.
She's
so
like, I'm gonna just have him.
No
Like,
idea.
Do you
what
work
to
the next
expect.
couple of days? I'm like, girl, you know I'm here every day. Just send him in here. She sent him in here. I said, girl, I don't know you. This is that fine man. So I'm looking at him, and he starts cracking up. And he's like, I know what you're thinking. And I'm like, and I am. Where's she at?
Right.
He like, man, that's just. And I'm like, you better start talking.
For
like,
real.
who, before we even, because I saw it. Like, what we doing?
Right.
He was like, it's somebody I was trying to just. I've been trying to get over her for, and I said, well, I can identify with that.
Yeah.
So he wound up being so wonderful, like magnificent, perfect. Okay, perfect. He was perfect.
Wow.
And he has dreads down to his butt.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Him and his mama go to a very popular salon in the city I was living in. Guess who the wash girl is at their salon?
No.
My ex-boyfriend's baby mama.
No. Oh, wow.
So she looking at me like, oh, and they looking at her like, we don't care what you say, girl.
For
this
real.
our girl. And I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Yes.
Run back and tell
Hello.
Run back and tell
Go ahead.
So I wound up having a wonderful, beautiful relationship with him for like 2 years.
Okay.
In which I was able to just learn how I should be treated.
Yeah.
In that age, you know, because I'm still very young. And he wound up moving off to LA and becoming a big producer out in LA. And he was like, come on, like, just come out here.
Right.
And nothing in me would let me do it.
Wow.
Nothing in me would let. He's like, come on, like, I got you. We gonna get married. And I'm like, no.
Oh, wow.
And my flesh is like, what is happening? What are you doing? And my spirit is like, absolutely not. you can't go out there with him.
Wow.
You can't go out there with him. And I didn't.
Mm.
And then maybe about 2 years later, I met my husband.
Shut up.
And I was on the brink of getting ready to go out to LA through a different means when I met him.
Wow.
And he was like, nah, dog, you gotta stay here. And I was like, I already have a job out there. I've got connections out there. Like,
Everything
what do you
was
mean?
set up.
And he was like, you go out there, this will never work.
Ooh.
He was like, I can't let you go out there. And I was like, you got a year.
What you say? Good solid.
Because I've been waiting on this my whole life.
Yeah.
Like I was
especially in your career field, that was gonna be game changing.
Listen, at the time, my business mentor was Beyonce and Lady Gaga's musical directors.
Wow.
So I was good.
Yeah.
I was set.
You sure was.
And he was like,
man,
you can't go. And I was like, all right. And then and everything in me, again, in my spirit, because I'm spirit led.
Yeah.
It was like, just sit still, sis. Just sit still. And I was like, oh, my God. Okay. I'm going to sit still. So, anyways, to answer your question, that was my oomph. My oomph was, dating guys who want to hold on to you, that want to lie to you.
Yep.
And they have the whole package.
Yep.
They have everything that you need. They give you the security that you want, but they don't realize every time that you lie. First of all, I'm a child of God. I'm a princess of God. I'm royalty.
Come on.
So I'm going to know.
Yes.
And I don't have to go searching. I don't have to go digging. I don't have to be nasty about it. It's going to come to me. And every time it comes to me, a piece of my respect and dignity that I have for you and for our relationship is gone.
Forever.
And once that's gone, there's you can't.
Yep.
I'm not. Especially if it's now let's talk spiritual. Especially if it's something that's not ordained by God and you trying to hold it together yourself. No.
It ain't gonna work.
Not gonna work.
It ain't gonna work.
Not gonna work. And it didn't.
Yep.
And I thank God it didn't. Oh, Jesus, thank you.
Yes, honey.
Thank you so much, because I was like, oh, this can't be my life.
Right. No, seriously.
This can't be my life.
This can't be.
So,
and you spoke about what us beauties go through. You know, we will fight to the end.
Oh, that's a fact. Yes.
We will fight to the end.
Yes.
Y'all know my story. We will go hard.
All the way.
Whew.
Okay.
Sometimes too far.
Thank you. Hello. Come on now. You speaking.
But where we had enough, when enough becomes enough, it really is no turning back from that.
None.
Like, that is when we start to shut down.
That's
we
it.
Here.
That's it.
But mentally and emotionally, we're gone.
You have a shell.
Gone. Yeah.
You now have a shell of me.
That's it.
And then you're going to get irritated because you're not getting the warmth and the nurturing and the loving that is all of me.
Yep.
Because now I'm like, you don't deserve that.
Yeah. You didn't appreciate it when you had it.
You take advantage of it.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, but you're not going to keep doing that to me.
Yes.
You're not going to keep doing that.
That's right. Once we find our value and worth, honey,
come on.
Done
that's
deal.
it.
Done deal.
It
makes it so much easier to walk away and have no regrets.
None.
And speaking of your situation, that discernment be strong too, because like you said, he checked all the boxes.
Every box.
Every box.
Every single box.
But the Holy Spirit was still telling you.
He said that is not your partner.
Wow.
That is not your guy.
And I know that was hard.
Oh, it was so hard. It was so hard because he was great.
Yeah.
Like, he was flawless. I couldn't find a flaw in him. To be honest, my only flaw I had with him was that he was around too much.
Okay.
He was around too much. And the only reason why he was around too much is because at the time, my roommate, who was my best friend throughout college, her boyfriend, who was always at our house, like, he just lived with us at this point.
Right.
We were Three's Company.
Okay.
Literally the modern day version of it. And he was Whitney Houston's nephew, right?
Oh, okay.
So they both do music. They're both in music. They both come from music. So those two were like best friends. Yeah. So it would be like times that I would come home and he would be at my house. And I would be like, wait a minute. I just got off from work. I haven't even got a chance to like come down from my day. I need to shower. And you want to be like,
Right.
and I'm looking at my best friend like a heads up would have been real
Right.
nice.
Yeah.
You could have texted me and
real
been
nice.
like, such and such is here, just so you know, if you want to take the long way home. I think they're getting ready to leave and go to the studio, so give yourself 20.
Right. No. Too much to ask.
I'm like, girl,
That girl code.
give me
Come on
something.
now. Right.
So, that was the only issue. That was literally my only issue. That he was just always around.
Okay.
But outside of that, loved him.
Wow.
Loved him. And still knew he was not it.
Wow, that is incredible. But you know what? I do appreciate what God did, because he literally did take something that wasn't gonna work.
No.
Showed you it could be better, makes you even more at ease of knowing that there's no regrets with leaving that particular person.
Yes.
And it now sets a nice little bar for who is supposed to be.
He was the beautiful exit.
Yeah.
He was the beautiful
that's a
exit.
way to put it.
Yeah. He was the beautiful exit. He was God's way. And it's so crazy how, and this is why I love to be in the Bible, because religion will try to make you feel like God is a certain type of way based off of man's comprehension.
Right.
But when you really understand how God operates, God will use anything. He will use anything, anyhow, in any way. Like all the time.
For sure.
You will be shocked at the way that he will operate. And so again, I had to look back on it and I'm like, that was a real gift. That was a beautiful gift.
Yeah.
And Lord knows I was sinning in that gift. I was sinning in that gift. Thank you, Jesus, for deliverance. Thank you, Father God. But he knew like this was the only way I was gonna get out of that.
Yeah.
And so he was like, send in the recon that way. Don't look back. And I didn't.
Beautiful.
And because everybody knew everybody, it made it impossible for me to look back.
Okay.
Because the minute if I slipped up and went back into that cycle, then the baby mama would have knew. Then I would have went to the mama, and then the mama would have went to the and now I've completely disassembled my exit. So I knew like he formulated it in a way.
Right. There was no going back.
No.
Okay.
So yeah, he's wonderful like that.
Okay. Well, yes. I mean, we do serve an awesome guy. He be having his ways, but yes, for sure.
And I'm okay with it.
Me too,
I'm
honey.
okay with it.
Me too. Let him do his thing.
Yes.
So so in the midst of having met someone that checked all the boxes,
yes,
what was your expectation? Now he's off to LA, you know, and you're now, dating back again.
Yeah.
What were the qualities you were looking for in the one?
Okay, so let's talk about it. So there's another person in between that guy and my husband.
Oh, okay.
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 And I'm off by about a year or so because there's a big time frame. There's a big gap here. So I met my first son's father.
Okay.
Right after him.
Wow.
Like immediately.
Like okay.
Right. So it's like I never had a chance to just be out here drifting around. Like it never happened. It never happened.
Okay.
So I go into this next relationship with my first child's father. And my first child's father was playing for the Steelers, Super Bowl winner. Didn't get that Super Bowl win until I was 6 months pregnant with our child. But and in that process, that was the worst relationship I ever had in my life.
Wow. And some people would think with the fame and this and that.
Wow. Awful. I almost lost my life twice in that relationship. A lot of domestic violence, a lot of abuse, a lot of what I want to say. I can't even say. And I thank God I'm in a place where I'm good with him.
Yeah.
I have forgiven him. I have forgiven myself. I have done all the work and all the things within that.
Wow.
So I'm in a great place with that.
Okay.
But awful,
Yeah.
but I
Wow.
knew coming out of that old relationship,
Right.
I was ready. I
Okay.
was like, I'm ready. I'm ready to be a wife. I'm ready to have some
Yeah.
children. I'm probably like 24 at the time.
Okay.
But I'm like, I'm ready. I've been partying. I've partied with everybody. I've done everything I wanted to do. Like, I'm ready. I can settle
Ready to
down
settle
now.
down. Yep.
So here comes this man who offers me the world. And it's
Yeah.
like, you can quit your job, be a
Mm.
stay-at-home wife.
Right. And be able to
Mm.
focus on the family full
Mm-hmm.
time while I go out here and
Yep. Live the
does
life
the football.
that I want to
Yeah.
live, right? And you are
Wow.
gonna be okay with it, right?
Okay.
And so it was cute until I got pregnant.
Okay.
And I told him I didn't want to have any children until I was married.
Right. Right. You want to do the right way.
And I was like, let's do this. And the way it happened, it was so deceiving, right?
Okay.
So I finally get enough balls to get out of that relationship.
Okay.
And the day I make my mind up, I'm at a party. We're all at the same party. Now,
Okay.
mind you, now I have a lot of family members who played in the NFL.
Okay.
And they were all in the NFL at the same time.
Wow.
So I'm not, the way my family members groomed me to be around celebrities and ball players and stuff would be like, she's off limits. So I would be amongst everybody, but nobody would be allowed to talk to me.
Right.
Or unless it was somebody directly that they would be like, that's one.
Okay. Right. You get the
And that one
the
only.
approval. Okay.
And he know who he is. So we're all at this party. And he says to me earlier in the day, like, hey, such and such party today, you going? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm telling him this on purpose because, of course, I'm going.
Right.
But I want to see how you gonna move. So I go and I'm there and I'm having a good time. And I look to my right and he's at the bar and it's like 4 girls
All
around
around him, of course.
Just him.
Of course.
Just 4 girls right around.
Wow.
And it's another girl sitting on the bar behind him and he in between her legs. And I'm like,
oh, really?
you acting like my family ain't in here.
Ain't right.
And don't know that we are a thing. Like,
wow,
oh yeah, this is over.
Yeah.
This is over. So he's there not thinking that I'm there. So I walk up to him and I'm just like, hey, how you doing? Immediately. Like I don't make a scene. I am not that girl.
Okay.
I had already decided in my mind that I was done with him anyways.
Yep.
So I'm like, carry on. And I'm gonna act a fool. Right? So I act a fool. Having fun, having a good time, right? He leaves. So I can't remember. I think we were with like DJ Drama. It was DJ Drama and all of his people, right? So they're like, yo, it gets to be like 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
They like, yo, the flight leave at 7 a.m. You trying to go? And I'm like, I gotta work.
Right.
I got a job.
Go,
like, and I like my career. Like, I can't just go to Atlanta with y'all today. Right. Bye. Right? So it gets to be about 7:00 in the morning. And something in me is like, before you cut this tie, go take a pregnancy test. I'm pregnant. And I'm like, wow. Now, mind you, this man begged me for a child. Begged me for a child. So now I'm pregnant. So I sent him a text message and I said, hey, I need to see you today. Yeah. And he's like, okay.
Yeah, he been ready.
All right. Cool. So we go out to dinner and he's probably thinking I'm about to check him about.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not about to check. I don't check nothing. I write checks. I'm not checking nothing. That's not even in my
I know that's
swag.
Right.
So I'm like, I came here to let you know, like, I am pregnant. And he started doing cartwheels around the dang restaurant. And I'm hot.
I know you
I'm
are.
angry. I am mad.
I know it.
I'm like, man,
I was almost out of here.
So he like, all right, we about to get a house. We about to do this. We about to do that. We about to blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, all right, well, we here. I'm not
Right.
getting rid of it. I don't believe
Right.
in that. So,
Yeah.
okay, I guess I'm gonna try this again.
Mm.
Ugly,
Mhm.
ugly, 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 ugly. Oh, ugly.
Oh
I mean,
man.
ugly,
Mm.
ugly.
Wow.
There's no other way to go about it but to say it was downright ugly. It was awful. And in that time frame, I felt God take his hand off of me.
Mm. Oh wow.
I felt God be like, well, that's not the path I had for you.
Right.
So because you put this in your hands and you allowed this to happen, now I have to take my hand off you.
Ooh.
And in a time where in my entire life, everything I've ever touched has always bloomed, has always turned to gold, like
Mhm.
everything, that was gone.
Wow.
That was an
Yeah, that's
awful
deep.
feeling. It was
Mhm.
an awful feeling. And even trying to get out of that situation was it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and
Yeah.
worse and worse and worse. And it was like, God, where are you? And he was like, I'm here.
Yeah. He's always
He
here.
always let me know he was there,
Yep.
but not in the capacity that I knew him to be in
For
my life.
sure.
And so coming from out of that, coming from
Mhm.
out of the abuse of that, coming from out of all the things that were tied with that, which
Mm.
took years.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like my son was almost 3 by the time I
Okay.
got out of that. It
Wow.
took a long time.
Yeah.
And allowing myself to not get lost in what people were going to think.
Mhm.
Because I
Yep.
find that a lot
I've
of
done that
women are
too.
like, well, people are going to judge me, or why couldn't you keep
Mhm.
that together? Or,
Mhm.
you've got you a star, but it's like, baby, I'm the star.
Oh, I know that's right. You better tell him.
I'm the star. I'm
Come
the one
on.
with the favor.
That's right.
It's me. And
Yes.
so we get caught up and we get lost in all of that.
Yes, you do.
And I literally was like, no, I'm never going back to that.
Mm.
So once I got out of that,
Yeah.
I heard God clearly say to me, you have 3 years to
Mhm.
sit down and be quiet.
Mm.
And that I did. I went back to
Okay.
my hometown.
Okay.
Shout out to Warren, Ohio, in the building.
That's right.
And anybody who's ever been to Warren or around Warren or near Youngstown or any of that, the economy is dreadful.
Mm.
There's really not a whole lot going on out there
Yeah, you don't
because it
really hear too much about.
used to be a bustling town for the factories,
Mhm.
for
During that time.
manufacturing.
Yeah.
And no, none of that's going on.
Yep.
So, he sat me down back there
Mhm.
and he had me trailblaze and what I already had and knew.
Wow.
And I didn't date. Like I entertained one or two guys.
Right,
I
right.
would go out on dates here and there, but nobody, like
Nothing
I
came
said,
about.
you couldn't
Dodgeball.
catch me. Okay. You couldn't catch me,
Dodgeball with the dudes,
let
huh?
alone,
Get you to
so
sit down.
in that time frame, I sat down and I was very quiet. I
Mhm.
went through um what then felt like a depression.
Mm.
But what it was God removing the things that didn't serve me
Yep.
for the season that was to come.
Okay.
And the season that was to come carried my husband.
Wow.
So I had to detox.
Yep.
And that detox of getting the world out of me, getting the world's views out of me, getting all that abuse out of me, all that
Mhm.
fear, all of that had to go. And it took 2 years and 7 months. And
Wow.
then I met my husband.
Shut up.
And I was like, God, is that the reason why you had me sit down?
Mhm.
And it wasn't even the full 3 years. It
Wow.
was like right underneath it.
Isn't it crazy how he works? And when you be obedient, you know what I mean? The obedience of you saying, "Okay, Lord, I'm going to let
Yeah.
you lead the way.
Yeah. I've
I'm going
had
to keep
enough.
Yeah,
My
right.
way is
My
not
way
it.
is yeah, my way
Oh
ain't doing it.
no.
It
Oh
ain't cutting it."
no. Oh no.
And it's
Yeah.
it's amazing how God can work when you let him work.
Hello.
And I'm living testimony of that as well,
Woo.
and that time that you spend with yourself, you really do get to evaluate and be like, ooh,
Oh,
yeah, that's not
uh-uh.
that's not it. That's not
Mm-mm.
cute. No
No.
man
No.
go on that. Okay.
No. No. And
And
I don't
getting
want
rid
no
of
man to want that from me.
no, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And then getting past the healing from that, because I think a lot of us tend to make that mistake
Yes.
of just jumping into something else and
Hello.
not taking that time to heal. And now you're just carrying baggage.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna speak on that. So they say, when you go through trauma,
Mm-hmm.
when you go through pain, when you go through certain situations, a piece of our soul
Mm-hmm.
splotches off,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
And so when a piece of your soul fragments off from the main host,
Yeah.
excuse me, of your soul, not today, enemy, I'm gonna get this out.
I know, right?
When the piece of your soul gets fragmented and separates, that's where the enemy
Mm-hmm.
can mess with you in your life.
Mm.
That becomes a door.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it separates, everything else you can be living your life right.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can be seeking God, you can be in your word, you can be fasting, you can be praying, and you can be doing all the things.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have this fragmented piece
Mm-hmm.
that is still under arrest.
Mm.
And if you don't take the time to heal, if you don't take the proper time to really just rest in God's presence and allow Him to be the one to mend your heart
Mm-hmm.
and to mend your soul back together,
Yeah.
you never even realize this is a thing.
Mm.
And then when you get into a serious relationship and a man who finds you godly and sees that you're godly sent,
Yeah.
excuse me, now you're carrying that with you.
Mm.
And that will try to annihilate the very covenant and bondage that, or the very covenant and promises that God has for you within that relationship with that person. And the
Mm.
enemy still has a foothold over you with that
Mm-hmm.
part of your soul because you never took
You never took the
time.
time.
And the way that the world is set up is
Mm-hmm.
for you to go, 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 go,
Yep.
go,
I
go,
was
go,
just
go,
gonna
go, go.
say everything's go.
Work, go, go, go. Kids, go, go,
Yep.
go. Food, go, go, go. Lifestyle, go, go, go,
Fast
go, go.
pace.
You don't even look over there
Mm-hmm.
to be like, that's a thing.
Yeah.
And we gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta get that.
We gotta attack that
Something has to
thing.
happen
Yeah.
because that can't be here. It will
Yeah.
trickle down into your marriage, into your engagement, into your relationships that are the very fabric of what God has put together for you.
Wow.
And then you'll be so on guard
Mm-hmm.
that you pointing the finger, but you not
You not even look. Yeah.
you're not identifying
Yep.
and being accountable with what your
You are
role
doing.
is.
Yep. That's
That
true.
is what I learned in those 3 years.
Wow.
And even after 3 years
Mm-hmm.
and dating my husband for a year and then being engaged with my husband for a year, even after being married to my husband
Mm-hmm.
for 8 years now,
Yeah.
there's still pieces that God is like, through so much grace, showing me, hey, you never
Wow.
dealt with that.
Wow.
And that's why you having a issue with this with your husband right now.
Wow.
Because you never dealt with
You
that.
never dealt with that back
And
then.
until
Mm.
you get that under control, there's certain blessings I can't
You.
even give you
Whew.
because you're a weapon. I can't let the weapon get in the wrong hands.
Right. Right. Because then comes destruction.
And I didn't
Wow.
create you for destruction.
Amen. He sure
I
didn't.
created you to help build my kingdom.
Yep.
So you have to now do your part.
Mm. And see that listen, it takes a lot to be able to take that and be like, because
Oh, okay.
for a lot of us, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but we need that,
Yes.
and to be able to recognize that
Yes.
it's a whole different type of person. That means that you already been doing the work.
Hello.
Because not everybody recognizes that, and I think that's where a lot of us struggle too. We think that we good
Yeah.
all the time, and we're
Yes.
not.
And so that's why I
We're
like to go
not.
back to Proverbs.
All right, I like how you did that.
That's why I like Proverbs.
That's right. And
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with going back
Mm-mm.
and being able to see. Like I said, the Bible is definitely a telltale. It will
Oh, yeah.
definitely expose some things, and
Yes.
we're not perfect. We're
No.
forever trying to figure
Oh,
things
for
out.
sure.
What is the Bible even speaks of? We all have sinned and fall short of the glory of
Come
God.
on.
But our job is to continue to progress in
Yes.
the hopes that we'll sin less.
Yes.
You
And
know what
die
I
to our
mean?
flesh
That's
daily.
it. Die to it daily.
Daily.
So, man, that's amazing, testimony of, just being able to be open, transparent, and say, yo, I still, even within a
Even in
marriage.
today, yes. And in a beautiful marriage with a man who is
Yeah,
seeking God daily.
for sure.
God is still developing things in us individually and as a unit.
Mm-hmm.
And even going back to what we were talking about, reading in the Bible, I really,
Mm-hmm.
really love to read the Bible, because even when there's qualms that I may have with things that he's doing,
Mm-hmm.
it's things that I will open the Bible literally and start reading and be like, all right, now, Alishia, this is where you need to chill.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the verse you need to send to him for him to chill.
Okay. And I love, because I think it was at one of Micah's group chats that you guys took that and kind of expound on. I can't remember if it was you or if it was Ryan, but
Yeah.
where basically you guys don't let it get nasty.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
If you have
Ever.
to separate for a little bit,
Yes.
get yourself together. That's when
Yes.
God can be able to talk with y'all,
Yes.
because y'all can hear him
Come
now.
on. Hello.
And now you can be able to, like, okay, God, all
Yeah.
right, I guess,
Yes. For
and
sure.
that's when you humble yourself and be like, okay.
No, for sure.
And
Absolutely.
if more of us would do that,
Yeah.
whether it be in relationships and definitely in marriage, because
Yeah.
y'all done committed
Yeah,
to
we're
this
here.
thing. You
We're
know
not
what I
going
mean? Yeah,
nowhere.
we're not, divorce ain't an option.
No.
That if we can get to that point of communicating,
Yes.
but also it's okay to take that time to be by yourself.
Love plays such a huge role in that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I love my husband so much that even in times when I am so disturbed,
Yeah,
I still won't disrespect him.
that part. That's a big one right there.
I will say
That's a big one.
nothing to break him down.
That's good.
I'm never going to break that man down. There will never
Yeah.
be words that come out of my mouth
Mm.
that harm or break him.
Yes.
And that only came because I know from my past what that does to a couple.
It sure can.
I know what that does to a covenant. I know on such a severe level what that does.
Yeah.
And because of what I experienced and went through, I will never do that to him.
Yeah.
And that's one thing he always says to me, Dad. He's like, I am very grateful
Oh, for sure.
that you operate like that with me.
Yes.
And he does the same with me. He does
Yeah.
not
Oh, yeah.
ever say anything that would break me
Yeah.
or break my trust in him or make me look at him like I can't.
You're no longer safe with him. It's never been
Yeah.
that way.
He
Good.
never gives me
Good.
that.
And that's not something that everyone can praise their
Right.
their mate on. Is
Correct.
that because a lot, and we
Yeah.
see it all the time on
Oh, for
social media,
sure.
a lot of us beauties and gents,
Yes.
we struggle with that.
Yes.
Because words have power.
Hello. And what you
Words have
speak
power.
is what will come
Yes.
to pass.
It is.
So even if you saying, even if it's a baby dad and you say you ain't this and you ain't that and you ain't gonna never, he
Yeah.
won't
He
be.
won't be.
Because you're not speaking life into him.
But death.
Because you're speaking out of anger.
Yeah.
Which is another one of those emotions that you gained from somebody else. And now he has to pay, even if he is wrong.
Right.
You're not helping him be right.
Right.
You're just making him
Where does the
wronger.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're just making it worse and worse.
Yeah. And then making it worse for the next person.
Yes.
Because y'all obviously may not work.
Yes.
Now he's taking that to the next person.
There you go.
With the expectation, oh, you're going to be just like such and such. You know what I mean?
And then who pays for that? The children.
Yep.
The children pay for that.
It's all broken.
Yes.
It's a domino. It
Come
really
on.
is.
It affects everybody.
But if we can nip it right in the bud from the very beginning, that's what I'm saying.
Discipline.
Yeah.
It takes a certain level of discipline to discipline your words and operate in grace.
Yes.
That is hard. And that only comes from spending time with God daily.
Yes.
When you go and you sit in his presence, even if you're just like, hey, God, I'm here.
Yeah.
Minister to my spirit how you see fit. I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to sit here and listen. and meditate and wait on you to speak to me
Mm.
or minister to my spirit or whatever it may be for today.
Yeah.
The more I find that I do that,
Mm-hmm.
the more I find that I have grace for so many things, so many people, for strangers,
Mm-hmm.
for, just because if we're to be in this world and not of this world,
Right.
but help to build the kingdom in this world and
Mm-hmm.
represent the kingdom in this world,
Right.
we still have to operate from a certain level of grace
We do.
and
We
a
do.
certain level of love.
Yes.
And I feel like that is what our communities are missing,
For sure.
is love. There is so much selfishness
Mm-hmm.
that is just the reigning theme of life right now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about
Mm-hmm.
me. That they forget that the very gifts that God gives us
Yep.
are not for us.
That's it.
They're for everybody
They're
else.
They're for the world.
They're for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are being nasty and you being evil and angry and bitter, how
Mm-hmm.
can you help somebody else with the very tools that God gave you?
Right. How can you show God's presence in the midst of all that? You know what I
How?
mean?
That's important.
We're supposed to be the light that so shines on this earth so that way
Yes.
we can draw men
Hello.
to him. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean?
We should be fishers of men.
We should be. And we're missing the mark. And again,
Hello.
if we take the time
Yes.
to really get us together.
Yes.
Inside.
Inside.
'Cause
On the
outside's
inside.
great,
Outside's great.
Yeah, you
Outside's
work out and
great.
all that.
Oh, yeah. Outside's great.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
You look great.
You're pulling them
But what's
in.
your insides looking
What
like?
do you got? Is a
Yeah.
rotten tomato in
Honey,
there.
yes. You right. Well, it's a great way to put it.
The rotten.
Beautiful on the
Oh,
outside.
gorgeous.
You cut that thing in.
Woo! You yikes.
Look ugly inside. Mm-hmm.
Nasty work.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
So okay, so we have to know because I gotta help my beauties and gents now. This has been a topic that's been able to help both.
Okay.
But okay, so you've done the work.
Yes.
You meet your potential, because at the time,
For sure.
y'all meet.
Yes.
So how did you know? What were some of the qualities that that Ryan possessed? I'll just say Ryan because I can't say husband yet. We're gonna walk.
He's
that.
Ryan at that point.
Yeah, he's Ryan.
He's
Ryan.
actually
like, oh, okay.
DJ Ryan Wolf at that point.
Okay,
He's
right.
not even Ryan. He's not. He's just the DJ.
Okay.
The DJ.
The DJ.
Qualities he possessed.
Mm-hmm.
One in particular was enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was everything. And
Okay.
it was something I heard from the very first time I spoke with him.
Okay.
We met via Instagram, by the way.
Oh wow.
It was me. I DM'd him.
What you say? Okay.
However, I did not DM him under the pretense of dating, courting, any of that, because I was so hard at that point. Like, I was hard. I was like, nobody's, I'm about to be a boss and I'm going to build this empire and I'm not dating and marrying nobody. Like,
right.
yeah, okay. So I slid in his DM because I saw he was, a big deal in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hosting events and I was doing parties and stuff everywhere but Cleveland.
Wow. Okay.
And so I DM'd him and I was like, hey, so I see that you do a lot of events. I see you're tied to a lot of the promoters in the city. I sent him my press kit and I was like, if you know anybody that needs somebody like me who is not only going to show up and look the part, but going to be on the mic the whole time, call me.
Okay.
And he said, no, you call me. Here's my number. Call me right now. So we get on the phone and immediately we start talking about everything but that. Everything but that.
Okay.
And I realized about 20 minutes into the call, which this wound up being a 3-hour call.
Wow.
Because I remember exactly where I was at. I remember who was with me. I remember it was like a breath of fresh air, like a warm blanket had been put on me, something I hadn't experienced in a very long time.
Wow.
And I remember about 20 minutes into that call, I said, he's actually listening to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's listening.
Yeah.
Or at least he's doing a really good job of trying to pretend.
Right. Because at this point, you're right. Okay.
Because for me at that point,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bad baddie. Okay, I'm a bad baddie. Shortcut, body code.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm out here. I'm outside.
Outside. Okay.
So any man that's looking at me is like, oh, that's the party girl right there. Like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm really not. Like, I am, but I'm not.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of substance going on over here, and it's not what you think it is.
Right.
So he just listened to me, and his feedback was very like, I'm here in the moment and I'm listening to everything you have to say. Wow. And I was very impressed by that.
Yeah.
That had me like, I want to know more about this person. So that was the quality for me. It was that he heard me. And not only did he hear me, but he cared enough to give me feedback that would help my life. Okay. In a huge way. Yeah. And it was like one thing about my husband, because he's still like this with everybody. Like, I just know he's like this. And that's why I love him. It's like it goes from a you thing to a we thing. Oh. So what we're gonna do is this, right? So we're gonna get you to do this, and then da 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 da. Funny short story. He came up with this name for me called Snow White. Okay. Because my hair was white at the time. I was
going to say, it got to be because of the hair. Okay.
And he was like, all right, we're going to call you Snow White. And I'm going to teach you how to DJ. So then that way, you could be a DJ and be a host. Ooh. And then we're going to get you 7 fly girls. Okay. And those will be like Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Okay. But instead of it being 7 dwarfs, it's 7 baddies. So we come as like a package. What? Who don't want that? So he came up with this whole concept, and there for a minute, my screen name was Snow White. Like and it was SKNO. Oh, white. Okay. Snow White.
I got you.
No white. Yeah. Right. So, and I just was like, dang, why didn't I think of that? That was brilliant.
That's
Who is this guy?
Very creative. Okay.
So I talked to him on the phone for maybe like 2 weeks before I'd even seen him in person. And it just consistently stayed like that. And I'm like, man, at the time I had a strong roster. Okay. You had a strong roster. Oh, Lord. And I was like, everybody's going to have to wait for this.
I know that's right.
I have to put everybody on hold for this one. Okay. So I started doing that. Okay. Just on GP. Because I'm like, where's this going? So he's like, you want to go on a date? And I'm like, yeah, sure. What you got in mind? And he's like, well, the radio station in Columbus has their summer jam. And he's like, and it's our sister station. So, because he worked for 107.9. Right. So he's like, you want to go with me to that? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I've never been to Columbus for their summer jam. It should be a vibe. Let's go. He's like, yeah, and it'll be a good way for people to like get to know who you are. And I was like, okay, I see where your head's at. Yep, cool. I see it too. So he says, come to my house and then hop in the car with me and then we'll drive down. Okay. So I do so. And I remember parking at the bottom of the driveway. There's this long driveway on a hill. I came out the house. He started walking down the hill. As he's walking down the hill, I literally hear God in my right ear saying, there go your husband. That's him. And I'm like, now wait a minute.
Right. Wait a minute.
You know I ain't looking for no husband. Right. I'm cool. I'm settling down. Yeah. I don't need any of that. Wow. Like I don't. And he was like, I said what I said. Don't mess this up. That's your husband. Wow. And so he comes and he like comes and walks up to me and I put the window down. He's like, hey. And I'm like, hey. Hi. All the cool out the window. Right. Like window go down, cool gone. Because I'm like, what is going on? Wow. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, here go this city guy. He fine. He got a swag together, hair all nice. I'm like, dang. This all right. Okay. So then I'm like, all right, guy, I heard you, but I'm just tuck that in my back pocket. And we go on the date. We spend the night in Columbus.
Okay.
And so he gets a hotel room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he says to me twice, he says, now, I don't want you to think I'm a creeper.
Yeah.
Right? So I got a suite and it has 2 bathrooms.
Oh, wow.
It has a living room area with a pull-out bed and then another bed. So he's like, I'll sleep on the pull-out bed and you can have the bed. And then we'll have our own. Like, I don't want you to think I'm that guy.
Yeah, that is that type of setup.
He was definitely that guy. He was that guy. He just didn't want me to think he was that guy. He was that guy. And the whole time I'm like, be that guy.
Right.
Like,
it's cool. It's cool. It's all right.
be that guy. And so, later on, now he'll tell you, like, yeah, I'm that guy. I didn't want you to think I was that guy, but I was
had
that
to play
guy.
cool,
So yeah, that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
That was our first date. And what's even crazier is, and I still have the pictures, when we got dressed, because we went to the separate bathrooms to get dressed.
Okay.
And we both came out. We both had on red button-down flannel shirts. He had on dark jeans. I had on a gray pencil skirt. And we had on the same color shoes. To a T, we had the same thing on.
Oh, wow.
And so, because I had mine like tied up right here.
Of course, yeah.
And he came out and we looked at each other and I was like, dog.
There's no way.
So then we go on the date and everybody like, so how long y'all been dating?
Right,
this is cute. We like, we don't even date. Like, we ain't playing this.
Right.
I ain't even that girl. I'm not gonna be like, so this what we about to win, right?
Yep.
Never. No. It might be somebody there I need to talk to. Like, we ain't even like that. Like, I'm assuming you gonna let me in through the back door. You gonna do your thing, I do my. No. We wind up.
Wow.
We wind up hand in hand, hip and hip.
Oh my god.
And never we've never
inseparable ever since, huh? That is awesome.
Yeah, so whole time I'm looking at God like, you're funny.
Yeah. Cause he got a sense of humor now. He got a funny way of doing things.
Didn't see this coming.
I was gonna say
at all.
I think that's what a lot of the beautiful stories that I've heard, like love story wise, is always when you not looking. Oh
God, not looking at all. Like,
at all.
Like hopes on negative 6,000. Okay, I have no hope. I have no stock in this.
Right.
I'm not even. I don't want to get hurt again. So I'm. Again, and to be honest with you, that's a form of witchcraft. When you try to take control and you're the one that's like, well, that happened to me before, so I'm going to change myself so that can't happen again. Now you've closed off the doorway for God to operate and work through you because you don't want to be who he created you originally to be. Ooh. You have now changed your whole genetic makeup and your personality.
Right.
Because now you're like, oh, yeah, I got hurt last time. I let my guard down, and now I'm not going to let my guard down. I'm not even going to try those types of guys anymore. I'm not even going to give them the time of day. Meanwhile, God is like, I created you for those types of guys. I need you to be that woman. Wow. And so because you hell-bent on standing on, I don't want to get hurt no more, you don't want to trust me, that I won't guide you and direct you into a location where you can't get hurt no more. Yep. Guess what? Had you consulted me before you went over there in the first place, you wouldn't have got hurt.
You wouldn't be in a predicament.
But you got to live and you got to learn.
You do. And some of us do choose the hard way.
You got to go
and
through it a couple
for others,
times.
we get it together.
Yeah.
And for some, we unfortunately never do.
Hello.
So the hope is that y'all watch this episode and y'all know that there's some things that you got to change.
You got to.
It starts with you.
You have to.
Because God can't send you your person without you doing the work for you.
Facts.
Now, what were some things that God was able to work in you before meeting Ryan that made you guys like the perfect fit?
I will tell you. Upon exiting my engagement with my son's father.
Oh, okay. So it got all the way to even engagement.
Oh, I had a 7.5 carat ring on my finger.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I had got engaged on Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, okay.
Which had also fell on a Mother's Day. So that was like my Mother's Day gift was a 7.5 carat ring. Right? And I'm like, oh, he did it.
Yep. I was just about to say.
Do you know when he went to go put that ring on my finger, it did not fit. What? I couldn't get it on. It like got to about right here, right?
That was God saying
So
no.
it was.
Mm.
And my best friend, who I had went to college with,
Mm-hmm.
she was with me. She had helped him set the whole thing up, right? So we go into the bathroom at the restaurant we're at, and we're like, "Ah! Ah! Look at this ring! Ah! She's like, ah! Look at it!" Girl, she's like, "We gotta get this ring on." And I'm like, "You got lotion? We got water. What are we
Right,
about to do?" So we
Vaseline.
like
What's
trying to
going
get.
on?
So we finally get it on.
Okay.
Finger
I
swollen.
was just about to say
Can't
now.
get it off.
Woof.
Okay. And I'm like, and now it's like cutting into my skin. I'm like, oh, what is this?
Ugh.
God was like, I never said
Right. I
that
tried to
this was
warn you.
okay.
Yep.
I never said this was okay.
Mm.
Right. So please ask me your question again because that threw me off.
You all right?
So sorry.
You all right? What was some of the qualities that you were able to work on
Okay.
within just you?
Now we're back.
Yeah. I got
So upon that exit of that engagement,
Yeah.
I realized, I said, God, I know, and this is going to be a spoiler for what you're going to ask me later.
Okay.
But I said, I know what the most beautiful part of me is.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I know what makes me special.
Yeah.
Can you please make sure that as I leave this situation, that I still have that?
Wow.
Take everything else.
Oh, wow.
Take
But just
everything.
leave
Take
me
the
this.
house, take the cars, take all the worldly possessions, take the ring, take it all.
Dang.
Please let me keep that.
Mm.
And I won't say what
Ooh.
that is
Oh
till
my
later.
gosh. Yes. I love the anticipation is
Yeah.
building. We want to know.
I won't tell you that till you ask.
Look, that already is beautiful because not everybody can walk away from all that. That's what keeps a lot of women stuck and staying stuck. Yeah.
Stronghold.
Ooh,
Strong.
it's a real thing.
Yes. And
Man.
I was like, please let me just keep that. So I kept that.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that God was like, so now that you understand that about yourself, let's expand on that. Let's expand on that. Okay. Let's remove some of the other things, the insecurities about life, how you were groomed to think life should go. And let's start living life the way I know I created your life to be for you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of telling you without telling you.
No, that's good. That's good. Because I mean, for a lot of our gents, I know that is something. Whatever, I can't wait to know what this special, beautiful quality is.
Yeah,
but that is usually one of the things that really do draw them in and just that differentiates you from all the others.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what I mean? Whether it be in the past or the roster.
Yes,
ma'am. I'm sure he had his roster too.
Yes, ma'am.
And once you find that person, you like,
yep. Everybody gotta go. Everybody gotta
dropped
go.
off. Okay.
Everybody gotta go.
See you later. Deuces.
Gotta go. And cut the ties. And gents, as she so lovely said it, don't live in fear that this one person that you are cutting everybody off for isn't going to work in your favor. Because even if this person isn't your end all be all, this person was sent to you to teach you something. And you will be distracted if you don't really remove all the other distractions. So when women are like, I want it to be about me, it's not just for the sake of selfishness or building. It's about you too. Because there's something she's carrying that you need that might not necessarily be for your future with her, but it could be for your future with your wife. And that is important to know in a day and age where everything is free, everything is out, everything is open, everything is easily accessible. Just because it's there doesn't mean you should take it.
Oh, that's good. That is really good. And I love that. And then, I mean, she's telling y'all the truth. So, gents, I hope you're listening and taking it all in.
I'm telling you.
Because the right one is out there, but you have got to be willing to take a risk. Someone told me that you can't, the way that you'll find love is you got to be willing to take the risk.
You have to.
It's risky, but you got to be willing to take the risk.
You have to. I'll tell you, with my husband, I dated him a couple months, right? It might have been 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
Right? And I felt like, no, it was more than that. It was like maybe 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
I felt like he was dragging his feet.
Oh, okay.
Now, one thing about my husband, he never lies. He would never lie to me. So that was also a
great. That's a
wonderful
beautiful quality.
quality for me.
Yeah.
That was end all be all.
Yeah.
I have been dating Ryan for about 9 months.
Okay. Oh yeah, because you said the 6 to 9 month mark. So yeah, and that's that sweet spot too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was there.
Uh-huh.
Life is going great.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's dragging his feet.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, bruh.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking to nobody else. Like, and he was, like I said before, he was very honest.
Okay.
Anytime he would go on a date with somebody, he would let me know.
Okay.
He would be like, my friend is coming over and we're going to go to the movies, but I'll call you back when I get back.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I know God done told me this is my husband. So I'm like, what the are you going to
right. What you think
to
you're
the
doing?
damn
Right.
movies when you still don't know, huh? So I'm looking at God like, are you going to tell him what you told me or what? Like, what is this? A level of patience and discipline I had never encountered before.
Oh my goodness.
So he was always very honest.
Okay.
Always
I can
like
respect that.
any of his friends, because Ryan comes with a lot of female friends who are now like my sisters.
Okay.
And they're still around, like almost all of them.
Okay.
And I love them all so
That's
much. They've like
good.
enriched our relationship so much.
Wow.
But I just was like, enough. You dragging your feet. I don't remember what the thing was, but it was enough for us to be like, cool, I'm cool on you. So I didn't talk to him for like 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
I didn't talk to him at all for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Maybe 3 weeks. And then he got hold of a rumor that I was messing with one of his other homeboys. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, he tried, but he ain't getting nowhere.
Came about,
yeah. So right after that, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to be my girlfriend for real. And I was like, well, what made you say that?
Yeah.
And he was like, because I never felt that empty before when somebody wasn't in my life. He was like, I knew then that you were the one.
Wow.
That's how I found out, was through your absence. That I couldn't be without you. I could not have you in my life.
Wow.
And when he said that, I was like, so that's your way? That's cute. I guess
I like how you did that,
that's
guy.
the only way that he would have got that. All right, I get it. I get it. And sure enough, he was like, I don't want nobody else.
Wow.
I don't need nobody else. It has to be you. Like, I felt sick.
Wow.
I felt sick without you. So to my gents and to my ladies, when you feel like you got to be in a man's face all the time,
yeah,
sometimes absence speaks way louder. And you have to be able to have discipline to not entertain somebody else, while also standing on business.
That's it.
If this is somebody you love, then test the spirit.
Wow.
Test them.
Yeah.
See, like, well, what are you going to do without me? Are
That's
you going to be
right.
outside?
Right.
You going to be wild? You going to pop up with somebody else on your arm? Or are you going to take this time to really reflect?
Yep.
And notice and realize who we are to each other, and
wow, and how we complete each other. You know what I mean?
Correct.
You spoke volumes with that one, because it's the fact of you walking away, willing to walk away, because a lot of us struggle with that too.
Yeah, I did it.
Because you knew your worth, you knew your value, and it's like, okay, if you don't see it, somebody else will. You know what I mean?
You know this roster I got over here?
Listen, I can bring it back, okay?
Bruh, like, I'm literally fighting them off of me every day. Like, I don't see you, you're not there. Please stop calling me. Please stop DMing me. Please send the messages through fans. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I had.
Yes. I believe it. Because listen, these men are be relentless, okay? So, baby.
And when they want what they want.
Yes.
They want what they want.
They won't stop until they get it.
And the whole time I'm like, I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
I don't want it. But if you acting like you too shy or scared or
Right, or
nervous
whatever it
to
is.
like really commit, then I have no place here. I need to be on my own.
Mm.
I'd rather be on my own than to sit here and play this game. I'm
Yeah.
not saying we got to be married, but we have to do something.
Right.
And so it just so happened that my husband came accompanied with a God-fearing mother who
Mm.
was beautiful. She was
Mm.
absolutely beautiful. And she was very traditional.
Okay.
So as we were dating in
Mm-hmm.
that year, she was like, when y'all
What's
get
up?
married?
Mm-hmm.
And while she is talking to him, his dad is on me.
Ooh.
Like, so when y'all gonna get married?
Look.
And I'm looking at dad like, first of all, that ain't even how this go. I don't ask him.
Right.
And second of all, and basically what dad was trying to say was like, you need to turn the fire up.
Yeah. Okay.
You
All
need to
right.
make him.
I respect that, Dad. Okay. Right. Hello.
And but because of where I had just came from,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not.
Yeah.
If it happens, okay,
Right.
great. But if not, I'm okay with being his girl.
Yeah, and just taking that. Yeah,
Because
just
I know he's
embracing that.
loyal. I know he's not a liar. I know he's wonderful. He's all the things.
Wow.
And I'm okay
Yeah.
with wherever that goes.
Yeah.
And he'll even tell you, if it wasn't for his mom, we
Mhm.
probably would have never got married. Because he
Really?
never would have been like, well, let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I never would
You
have
weren't
been
really
like,
putting that extra pressure to be like, hey, we have to. Yeah. And I think that's also a good thing too, is just letting it just organically
yep,
just flow and
just
go.
let it happen.
And God will get to 'em, you know what I
Hello.
mean? God will send some Nathans,
Hello.
aka Mama,
Real quick, real fast.
for real.
Okay.
Listen, he gonna get that message across one way or another.
She was not playing.
Oh, I know
She
she
was
wasn't.
like, now listen here.
Yeah.
If this is the one,
Mm-hmm. Stop playing something.
let's go ahead and get this done.
Yeah.
And sure enough,
Wow.
I got my little 1 carat ring.
Uh-huh.
And I was
And
I
over the
was
moon.
happier than I ever was with that 7.5 carat ring.
Wow.
And he was like, I just want to give you the world. I just didn't, I don't
Mm.
have it to give to you. And I know where you came from. And I'm like,
Right.
and just because you know where I came from, you should understand why I don't
It
want
doesn't
none of that.
matter. Yeah. It's not about that.
I don't need any of that.
Wow.
All I need is you.
Yes. Woo.
All I
Girl,
need is
don't
you.
be getting me up here trying to cry and stuff. You know,
I
I'm
don't
emotional.
need nothing else.
That speaks volumes, because no amount of money
Nothing.
can take the place
No.
of real, authentic,
No.
true love.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. And I also understand from that situation that it is so much more fun when you can build that together.
Yeah. I'm
You
sure.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when you can graduate through steps and through the years and elevate together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is my second ring.
Okay.
This ain't the ring we got married.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
respect
Like
that. Listen, elevate, level up. Okay.
you know what I mean? And eventually I will have a 10 carat ring. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because
Like, but we
the
built
man
this
you married. Yeah.
together. We got there together.
That's right.
You know, we
Y'all was
built
in the trenches
businesses
together.
and
Yeah.
we made decisions and we invested together to get there
Yeah.
versus it being, oh, that's all your money and I'm just here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a stay-at-home wife.
Okay, listen. So he's still doing what he said he would do.
And listen.
She if y'all caught in the beginning, she said retired. And clearly,
and
don't let the beautiful platinum hair fool you, okay? Queen is young,
yes.
okay?
Yes. Yes.
So not everybody can say they retired
No.
at this age
And I'm grateful.
time. When
I'm
we
grateful.
usually have 30 more years to invest before we can say that.
Man, and I spent a lot of time doing what I was doing, and
Yeah.
I just felt like I had got to a place where I could be okay with it, even though I never would have quit unless he asked me to.
Right.
And I realize now I'm so grateful that I did, because the way I look at everything, the way I observe time is entirely different.
Yeah.
Entirely different.
Yeah.
Which is why even coming here, I'm like, oh, I'm on the way. I respect time so
I appreciate that.
much.
Yeah.
I respect people's time.
Yeah.
And I consider myself to kind of like be out of the matrix sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I really operate on God's time.
Oh, for sure.
But at the end of the day, it's like I just see everything so different because I'm not
Yeah.
in the race anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not waking up and like I have to be here and I have to get
Yeah.
and the kids have to be here. Whatever. Like I can gracefully get through
Oof.
my day, and
Wow.
that is a
How
gift that I
peaceful.
just cannot even begin to put into words.
Girl,
I can't even put
that's
into words.
that's what we call beauties and gents. Blessed.
Blessed.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
No
So
other way to
blessed.
put it.
Blessed. And even I never even saw that coming from my husband. That was never
Yeah.
anything we discussed. And
Oh,
allow me to
wow.
tell you, God has a funny way of putting certain things in you for what your
Mm-hmm.
calling is and what your future is. And the enemy will try to send you a counterfeit
Oh, for
because
sure.
the counterfeit was my son's father.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because once you said that got to the ring, I'm like, oh,
Quit your
okay.
job, be a stay-at-home wife. Here goes the ring. Here
Oh,
goes the house. It's the same lineup
same. Yep.
that aligns with my destiny,
Mm.
right? But
But it
it's not
wasn't
the
the
right
right
person.
person. Mm.
This ain't the right person.
Nope.
So that was the counterfeit that was sent
Wow.
first.
That's a
And
good.
unless you are extremely locked into God and spending time with Him, you
Mm-hmm.
will get
You'll
took up
miss
top with
it.
that counterfeit
Oof.
and not even know until it is you eyeballs deep into it. Like, wait a minute.
Just say,
Hold
wait a
up.
minute. Rewind. What's
How
going
did
on
we
here?
get here in the
Yeah.
quicksand? Why are we here?
Wow,
So
that's
yeah,
hey, that was deep right there. You
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Gotta know that you're real from your counterfeits because they do look very much alike. But if you take a closer look, which is getting in your word, you will be
What
able
God
to
say?
know.
The wheat and the tares.
Mm.
The wheat and the tares.
Yep.
Baby, they grow up the same
Yep.
till it's time.
Yep.
Till it's time to
Till that rightful
harvest.
time. Mm.
I was like, burn that.
Yep.
Burn it. Okay.
But you know what? Like you said in the beginning too, though, we can appreciate the lessons.
Oh, beautiful.
The lessons actually do become a beautiful story
Ooh,
because it helps you to know what you were able to overcome
that's right.
and to know that you do deserve
Yes.
better and
Yes.
there can be better
Yes.
when you let it go. You would have
Yes.
never ever been able
Ever.
to experience this had you
Ever.
keep holding on to something that
Ever.
wasn't benefiting you.
And I wouldn't have known who I am in Christ.
Yeah, that part.
Because it's always
That
been
part.
there.
Yep.
So because it's always been there, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? I was raised in the church, like my family members, pastors, bishops, first ladies. Like I don't know anything outside of that.
Yeah, this is all you
So
know.
at the end of the day, it's always been
Yep.
there. God has always had His hand on me.
Always.
So I didn't know what it was like to not have that.
Wow.
And so now that I know what it's like to not have that, I will never,
Woo.
ever allow. I will never go back
I
to
know
that.
that's right.
Ever.
Wow.
Never. So it showed me my worth, but it also showed
Mhm.
me who I am in Him.
Yeah, that's even better.
That's important.
That's even better. Well, listen, this was a good time. I
Yeah.
enjoyed this. And
Yeah.
I'm sure it gave a lot of you guys a light of hope and to know that true love can exist.
Oh,
Like you
absolutely.
said, you guys have been flourishing. You've been business, y'all serial entrepreneurs, been
Yes.
doing a darn thing, family,
Yes.
God centered, if
Yes.
nothing else within your relationship and your family and everything that you guys do.
Yes.
And everything that y'all touched has been turned into gold. Everything's been blessings,
God is good.
God will pour out blessings you don't have room enough to receive. But you got to first seek ye.
That's right. And you
That's
got to be
it.
whole within Him and yourself
For sure.
before you become whole with someone else.
Yeah, it starts with you.
You have to have that.
I think that's the importance of this whole story is it
Yes.
starts with you. You
Yes.
did the work.
Yes.
I'm sure Ryan did the work,
Yes.
in the midst of it. And then it made for you guys to be able to beautifully just mesh together
For
and
sure.
connect on
Yes.
so many levels.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'm glad he got his act together.
He
'cause
did.
That's another thing, gents, y'all sometimes be letting the good ones go now.
And they do.
They let the good
and
ones
then watch
go.
them go.
Whoop.
You watch it. You watch Harley.
You willingly.
And now you mad because she had a happily married situation. That could have
That
been you.
That could have been you all day.
You let her go.
Yep.
Because your pride.
The pride.
Listen,
ego.
Lucifer himself got kicked out of heaven because of pride.
Mm-hmm.
Pride.
Pride.
Don't let it be you.
Please, y'all.
Don't let it be you.
Get it together.
Don't let it be you.
Get
Don't
it
let your
together.
pride stop you from being who God has called you to be. Don't let it be you.
That's right. I love this.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Queen, you know I can't let you go without asking
My question.
the most important question,
Okay.
my beautiful question I love to ask.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is, Alishia,
Yes.
what makes you beautiful?
What makes me beautiful are my unique gifts that God gave me.
Yeah.
And those gifts have absolutely nothing to do with my human senses, with our human senses. It's
Okay.
all spiritual senses.
Wow.
The most beautiful thing about me is my ability to be an empath.
Okay.
And when you are hurt as an empath, it can enable that gift. And so when I got hurt, I said to God, please don't let this destroy my gift of empathy for others.
Wow.
Allow me to still be able to love unconditionally and to be able to receive and pick up what people are feeling so I can help them.
Yeah.
So I can heal people with love, so that I can heal people with my resources, with whatever way I can. And to be able to be in any room with any type of people and still be impactful.
That's good.
So being an empath is what makes me beautiful, because I can pick up on what other people have.
Yeah.
And I can help build on that, help build them up, or help heal them. That is the most beautiful thing about me.
That is. Ooh, that's a very beautiful quality. And I'm glad that God is a God who keeps his word and made sure
He
that
spared
stays
me.
with you always.
It never changed.
Yeah.
A lot of other things did. Whether for the good or the bad. But that is one thing my spirit knew to ask.
Wow.
To retain.
That's beautiful.
And I believe that a lot of our trials and tribulations that we go through are attached to our assignments.
Okay.
It's attached to our anointing. Because I can't help you in any other way outside of things I've already been through.
Right.
Things he's delivered me through.
For sure.
I can't really speak to help you unless I've experienced it.
Yeah.
So because I've experienced what I have experienced, I understand I need to be able to hear and feel what people aren't saying with their mouths.
Woo, and now that's a gift.
And my gift is so strong.
Yeah.
I can hear what your spirit is saying even while I'm engaged in a full-blown conversation. And your spirit will tell me I'm lying.
Wow.
Right out of my mouth right now.
Woo.
I have lost friendships over that.
Oh, I'm sure.
I have given time and time and time for people to be like, just tell me what's going on. Like, just tell me what is the problem? What's holding you up? Or why are you so mad? I already know. I just need you to be honest with yourself. Because I can't help you until you are honest out loud. You don't say, and your spirit is literally telling me what it is. I know what it is. I'm waiting on you to tell me.
Wow.
So after the fourth or the fifth time you don't tell me, that means that stronghold that's on you, you're not willing to let go of.
I was just about to say.
And my job here, what he sent me here to do in your life, you won't even allow me to do.
I was going to say.
And I'm not going to waste precious time.
Wow.
There's somebody else.
You'll never receive.
Hello. There's somebody else that's willing to accept
Yeah,
what I'm here to give.
For sure.
So,
or at least be willing to do what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
I will pray for you.
You can be that safe space. Okay.
In my private time. Because you don't want to let go. And that's fine.
And that's all right. Even the Bible speaks of some people just gotta wipe your feet off and gotta keep it moving. Now that's probably the Gen Z translation.
Yeah. And it is. Actually, it gets even deeper than that, to be honest with you. Yeah, it does. Gen Z gets real deep, real fast.
Okay, I'll give me one of them.
Oh,
listen, I'm gonna let you know. Someone text you, be like, "Girl, I got it."
It'd be like, so Jesus pulled up to the party and they asked him if he was gonna turn the wine out, and he'd be like, "Look, y'all, I ain't come here to do all of that, but
Ooh.
let's keep the party going." Like that's how Gen Z reads. It's a
Oh,
good
girl,
time.
I might not never be able to put it
It's a good time. No,
down.
it's a good time.
Yes.
It's a real good
Oh,
time.
I'm getting one.
Yeah, you want
Listen,
that.
I'm gonna get me one of
You
them.
want that. You want that. I'm telling you. Definitely. And I suggest you get the Gen Z version of the Book of Enoch as well.
Really?
Because
Okay.
the original Book of Enoch is a very hard read.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been through it and
Mm-hmm.
I loved every part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the Gen Z part of it,
Uh-huh.
oh yeah, you want that.
Okay.
You want that for sure.
Sound like a game changer
Yeah,
right there.
it's a good time.
Okay.
It's a good time.
All right. No, like I said, y'all don't have me buying this by myself. Y'all get y'all's too. We might have to start doing a community of Bible,
Come on, let's
studying. Throw your favorite
go.
Bible verse in there, and let's start the
Yes.
community on
That's
that.
how we sharpen iron with
Let's
iron.
iron sharpens iron.
Okay.
That's it.
That's how we keep this thing going.
Listen. Well, I appreciate you taking time
For
to
sure.
be able to give us your beautiful story and how to be a baddie. Because a baddie don't have to be what this world is making it to
No,
be.
not at all.
But a baddie can be somebody that's truly
Yes.
led by God
Come on now.
and being spirit led
Yes.
and still able to flourish.
Yes.
Be beautiful out here. Be
Yes.
cute. We can
Yes.
still be baddies. We can still be cute.
And be a warrior.
Listen, and be able to drop whatever we're doing and still pray for you. And
Yes.
let's uplift each other instead of tearing each other down.
There you go.
So
yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Accountability in our words.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. And I thank
enjoyed
you
this.
guys for tuning in, watching. Again, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. From the ones that's been rocking with your girl, I appreciate you guys and love you so much. You already know what it is. And I think that's pretty much it. So without further ado, let's make a change, y'all.